Hello, my name is Chiara and today I'm gonna take you through a glutes and hamstrings focus workout with a little bit of core towards the end. I live in London. I've been working as a personal trainer in London for over 6 years and I want to really talk about fitness and health and nutrition on my YouTube channels. So if you like to see around, just don't forget to subscribe. I always start with the same warm-up stretches. To be honest, the best warm-up to the exercise you're going to do is the exercise itself. With a very light weight, eventually even body weight will work. So after a few minutes doing dynamic stretches, dynamic warm-up, I start right away with the deadlift, and this is the first exercise we're going to do. I perform a superset, so it's not one single set, it's actually 2 sets of 2 different exercises, even though the movement pattern is the same because we're talking about a deadlift. I do a sumo deadlift followed by a Romanian deadlift. I prefer to start with the sumo as I found it a bit more challenging. But if you find the Romanian deadlift harder, you can start with that one and perform the sumo deadlift as a second exercise. I do 4 sets and because it's a superset, I don't go extremely heavy as I could if I would be doing just one single set. I perform 4 sets between 8 and 12 reps per set. So at the end of each superset, I did something like 20 to 24 repetitions. Make sure you maintain a natural spine. Don't round or arch your back. Engage your core and keep your chest up. Sit back into the lift and drive through your heels. I can't stress enough how important this is. You want to push mostly through your heels, even though the whole sole of the feet is on the floor, stays on the floor. You don't want to lift your toes, but as I said, drive through your heels and fully extend your hips at the top of the lift without locking out your legs. The second exercise I do is a hip thrust slash calf bridge, which in my opinion is a fancy way to say that I'm doing a hip thrust where I don't perform a full range of motion, but I mostly focus on the top part of the hip thrust, which is the concentric part of the movement. The concentric portion of the lift is when usually you're getting the weight up and you're shortening the muscle. Put focus on both the concentric and the eccentric portions of a lift because this is extremely important for muscle growth and to build tension in the muscle, especially if you're a beginner. On the eccentric part of the movement, when you're lengthening the muscle, you don't want to drop the weight. You want to take your time. Keep the muscle under tension, and this is what I'm doing. Keeping the muscle under tension even at the top, as you can see, of the movement. If you can see, I do a pulse, and I suggest you to do the same, as it really helps to keep that tension in the glutes for longer. So it definitely makes a difference for me to do the exercise this way. My third exercise is a good morning at the Smith machine. I used to overlook this exercise, but I've really started to love this, and I prefer to do it on the Smith machine rather than the free bar because it provides more stability. When you start doing this exercise, start always with your legs bent. Never lock them out, even when you come back into a standing position. So your knees are slightly bent, but then you want to lock them. So it means then as you do the exercise, you don't want to bend them any further. My last glute focus exercise is a kickback, which I do with the support of a bench. I love doing it on the bench as it really allows me to lift a bit heavier than doing it in a standing position. If you see the way I do this exercise, I make sure that when I extend my leg on the way up, I turn my toe outward, and that makes such a difference. otherwise the tension will stay mostly in my hamstrings. But I do want to target my glutes mostly when I do this exercise, and this is why I turn my toes outward. As I said, that makes such a difference. However you want to do this exercise, make sure your toe is turning outward. Keep your core engaged. You don't want to swing. Over time you might feel a bit of pain in your lower back, so just make sure that your body is steady. The only part of your body that is moving is your leg. Don't swing. I see so many people swinging even when they use a bench, so make sure you're aware of that and you don't do it. The last part of the exercise is core. We do just a few exercises for core. For years I was barely training my core, as obviously when you lift weights or when you do compound movements especially, you do engage your core. But since I've started to dedicate a couple of sessions per week to train core, I've seen quite a difference in my appearances. I don't love training core, but I do incorporate it at the end of a session. Sometimes it might be a lower body session or upper body session. It really depends on how much time I have. But I think that works so much better for me. I much more enjoy it rather than dedicating a whole training session to train core. I do mountain climbers with sliders. I go slow and controlled, and this is followed up by sit-up. On the last set, I perform I think 10-15 reps of sit-ups, but then I drop the bar and I keep on doing sit-ups until failure, but just for my last set. You can have a number of reps in mind. For example, when you do this, you can do 15 repetitions, or you can set a timer as well. And what I would suggest you to do, each time you do this workout again, try to aim for more repetition or longer working time, just to keep, kind of challenging your core. I think it's a little bit easier to increase the load, the reps or the weight on core rather than, for example, legs. You can't increase the weight of the repetitions every time on legs, every time you do the same workout week after week. I find it just slightly easier on core, but this is my personal opinion with my clients and with myself. Well, thank you so much if you watched this video. I'm gonna post so much more content in 2025. So if you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That's a massive help for me. And if you want, you can follow me on Instagram. I post workouts, tips, gym hacks, like all sorts of stuff. And thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video.